throw the first punch.
The world of WWE is buzzing with excitement, shock, and controversy as Rhea Ripley makes her thunderous return to the ring, delivering a jaw-dropping, heart-pounding showdown with Liv Morgan that has left fans and wrestlers reeling. Monday Night Raw was nothing short of explosive, with Ripley's comeback sparking a storm of emotions across the WWE universe. But what unfolded between Ripley and Morgan was more than just a wrestling match. It was a story of dominance, resilience, and brutal betrayal that has captivated millions around the globe. From shocking injuries to deeply personal moments of mockery, the night's events will be etched in WWE history as one of the most dramatic turnarounds of all time. The episode began with the crowd roaring in anticipation. Rumors had swirled all week about a possible return for Rhea Ripley, and the energy in the arena was electric. Liv Morgan, beloved by fans for her fiery spirit and undeniable grit, stood in the center of the ring, her expression a mix of determination and trepidation. She had heard the whispers too. Was Ripley coming back to reclaim her dominance? Or was this all just another ploy to throw her off her game? The answer came in the form of Ripley's signature music blasting through the speakers, followed by her imposing silhouette appearing on the stage. The crowd erupted, half in awe, half in fear. Rhea Ripley was back. The moment Rhea Ripley stepped into the ring, it was clear she had a point to prove. Her return was nothing short of commanding, and her focus was locked on Liv Morgan. The tension in the air was palpable as Ripley circled Morgan like a predator sizing up her prey. Then in an instant, the brutality began. Ripley delivered a devastating kick that sent Morgan sprawling to the mat. The sound of the impact echoed through the arena, drawing gasps from the crowd. Morgan tried to recover, clutching her side as she rose to her feet, but Ripley was relentless. She followed up with a flurry of attacks, each one more brutal than the last. Fans watched in stunned silence as Morgan, known for her tenacity, struggled to fight back. "I've never seen anything like this," one commentator exclaimed. Ripley is on a mission to destroy. Social media exploded as clips of the confrontation flooded timelines. Fans debated whether Ripley's aggression was justified. Was she sending a message to the entire roster, or was this personal? Either way, Liv Morgan was caught in the crossfire, and the results were devastating. What started as a match quickly turned into a nightmare for Liv Morgan.
Who wants to be brave and throw the first punch?
Ripley's merciless assault left her battered and bruised. The turning point came when Ripley slammed Morgan into the corner, targeting her previously injured shoulder. Morgan's scream of pain was enough to silence even the loudest fans in the arena. Referees rushed into the ring, signaling for medical assistance as Ripley stood over Morgan, her expression cold and unyielding. The WWE medical team confirmed later that night that Morgan had suffered a severe shoulder injury, potentially sidelining her for months. Fans and wrestlers alike took to social media to express their concern and outrage. "Liv doesn't deserve this," tweeted one fan. "She's given everything to WWE, and to see her treated like this is heartbreaking." Even some of Ripley's supporters admitted the attack was excessive. "I love Rhea, but this was too far," one wrestler reportedly said backstage. Meanwhile, Ripley seemed unfazed by the backlash, further fueling the controversy surrounding her return. As news of Morgan's injury spread, speculation about her future began to swirl. Would this injury spell the end of her career? For years, Morgan had been a fan favorite, her underdog story inspiring countless viewers. But now, with her body battered and her spirit shaken, questions about her ability to return to the ring were unavoidable. Wrestling insiders revealed that Morgan had been dealing with lingering injuries even before her clash with Ripley. "This might be the straw that breaks the camel's back," one source claimed. The idea of Morgan retiring sent shockwaves through the WWE universe. Fans launched hashtags like #ThankYouLiv and #ComeBackStronger, showing their unwavering support for the superstar. Morgan, ever the fighter, posted a heartfelt message on social media, thanking her fans for their love and promising to fight with everything she had to recover. "This isn't the end for me," she wrote. "It's just another obstacle to overcome." But with the odds stacked against her, many wondered if her determination would be enough. P4. Rhea Ripley mocking Liv Morgan. If the injury wasn't enough, Rhea Ripley added insult to literal injury by mocking Morgan in the days following the match. Appearing on a WWE talk show, Ripley smirked as she watched clips of her attack on Morgan. "She wanted to step in the ring with me," Ripley said, her tone dripping with sarcasm. What did she think was going to happen? The comment sparked outrage among fans, who accused Ripley of being callous and unprofessional. "This isn't the Rhea we used to know," one fan wrote. "This is someone who's let power go to her head." Others, however, praised Ripley for staying true to her character. "This is why she's the best," one supporter tweeted. "She's unapologetically ruthless." Ripley's actions even drew criticism from some of her fellow wrestlers. "There's a line you don't cross," one wrestler said anonymously. "Mocking someone who's injured goes beyond competition, it's personal." Ripley, however, seemed unfazed by the backlash, continuing to play the role of the unstoppable villain. The WWE locker room was divided in the wake of Ripley's return. Some wrestlers applauded her dominance, calling it a wake-up call for the entire roster. "Rhea Ripley is a force to be reckoned with," one wrestler said. "She's setting the standard for what it means to be a champion." Others, however, expressed their disapproval. "What happened to Liv was unnecessary," a veteran wrestler said. "We're supposed to compete, not destroy each other." Backstage reports suggested tensions were running high, with some wrestlers even confronting Ripley about her actions. Meanwhile, WWE legends weighed in on the situation, offering their perspectives. "Rhea Ripley is one of the most talented wrestlers of this generation," one Hall of Famer said. "But she needs to remember that with great power comes great responsibility." As the fallout continues, one thing is clear: Rhea Ripley's return has sent shockwaves through the WWE universe, sparking debates about the nature of competition, the line between character and reality, and the future of some of the sport's most beloved stars. Fans are left wondering what's next for both Ripley and Morgan, and whether this feud has truly reached its end or if it's just the beginning of an even more intense chapter. The WWE Universe has been set ablaze by the dramatic return of Rhea Ripley, an electrifying force who has redefined the boundaries of dominance in women's wrestling. While her devastating return to Monday Night Raw sent shockwaves through the industry, the true depth of this story lies in her tumultuous history with Liv Morgan. This isn't just another feud, it's a saga of rivalry, betrayal, and a hunger for supremacy that has spanned years, culminating in the explosive showdown that left fans speechless. What drives Ripley's relentless need to dismantle Morgan? To understand her motivation, we must delve into the rich history of their clashes and the deeply personal stakes that have turned their feud into one of the most talked about rivalries in WWE history. Rhea Ripley and Liv Morgan didn't start as enemies. Their careers intersected in a way that seemed almost destined, to women with distinct personalities but a shared passion for proving themselves in the cutthroat world of professional wrestling. Liv, with her underdog spirit and an ability to connect with fans on an emotional level, quickly became a crowd favorite. Rhea, on the other hand, was a towering powerhouse rebel with an unrelenting drive to dominate anyone who stood in her way. Together, they seemed like polar opposites, a dynamic that would eventually explode into a bitter rivalry. Their first significant clash came during Ripley's meteoric rise in NXT. Morgan, a SmackDown roster mainstay at the time, had returned to NXT for a special crossover event. Fans eagerly anticipated their encounter, seeing it as a battle of grit versus might. Morgan's high-energy, scrappy fighting style was a stark contrast to Ripley's calculated aggression. That first bout set the stage for what would become a deeply personal feud, with Ripley emerging victorious in a controversial finish that left Morgan fuming. Ripley's dismissive post-match comments, calling Morgan a stepping stone, only added fuel to the fire. Fast forward to their time on the main roster, and the rivalry began to take a darker, more personal turn. Liv Morgan's story resonated with fans because of her underdog narrative, a fighter who never gave up, no matter how many setbacks she faced. Ripley, on the other hand, thrived on shattering the hopes of her opponents, making an example out of anyone who dared challenge her. Their paths crossed again in tag team action, where tensions escalated both inside and outside the ring. Ripley's disdain for Morgan became evident as she would often go out of her way to humiliate her, mocking her resilience as weakness and labeling her as unworthy of sharing the spotlight. The turning point in their rivalry came during a high-stakes match for the Women's Tag Team Championships. Liv Morgan and her partner were inches away from victory when Ripley, alongside her then-partner, intervened in a manner that was as brutal as it was unexpected. Ripley's interference cost Morgan not only the titles, but also her chance to cement herself as a top-tier competitor. The betrayal stung, but it also ignited a fire in Morgan that fans had never seen before. Liv began to channel her frustrations into her performances, growing stronger with every encounter. She was no longer content with being the underdog. She wanted to prove she could stand toe-to-toe with the best, including Ripley. The animosity between them reached new heights when they clashed in a singles match at a major pay-per-view. This wasn't just about wins or losses, it was personal. Ripley's taunts became crueler, delving into Morgan's past failures and her perceived inability to rise to the occasion. Morgan, in turn, tapped into the support of her fans, using their unwavering belief in her as fuel to push forward. The match itself was a spectacle, showcasing both women at their peak. Ripley's power and precision seemed insurmountable, but Morgan's heart and determination kept her in the fight. In the end, Ripley claimed victory once again, but it was clear that Morgan had earned her respect even if Ripley refused to admit it publicly. What made their rivalry so compelling was the contrast not only in their fighting styles, but also in their personalities. Ripley represented dominance and control, a force of nature who thrived on fear and intimidation. Morgan, on the other hand, was the embodiment of perseverance, someone who refused to be broken no matter how many times she was knocked down. Their clashes weren't just matches, they were battles of ideology, with each woman representing a different approach to success in the WWE. Their feud took a shocking twist when Ripley, after a brief hiatus due to injury, returned with a newfound edge. She was more ruthless, more aggressive, and more determined than ever to cement her legacy. Liv Morgan, who had been riding a wave of momentum, became her primary target. The events of Monday Night Raw, where Ripley launched a brutal assault on Morgan, marked the culmination of years of tension. Ripley's actions weren't just about sending a message, they were about asserting her dominance and reminding the WWE Universe that she was still the most dangerous woman in the ring. Fans have speculated endlessly about Ripley's motivation. Is it jealousy over the connection Morgan has with the audience, something Ripley has struggled to replicate? Or is it a deeper need to erase any doubt about her superiority? Some insiders have suggested that Ripley views Morgan as a symbol of everything she despises, a competitor who relies on heart and emotion rather than sheer power and strategy. Whatever the reason, one thing is clear: Ripley's animosity toward Morgan isn't just professional, it's personal. The impact of their feud has extended far beyond the ring. Social media has been flooded with debates about who is in the right, with fans taking sides in what has become one of the most polarizing storylines in WWE. Some argue that Ripley's aggression is a necessary part of her character, while others believe she has crossed the line. Liv Morgan, ever the fan favorite, has received an outpouring of support, with hashtags like #JusticeForLiv trending worldwide. Ripley, however, seems to thrive on the controversy, using the backlash as further motivation to dominate. Backstage reports suggest that the rivalry between Ripley and Morgan has also sparked tension among the roster. Wrestlers have reportedly taken sides, with some applauding Ripley's unapologetic approach and others expressing concern over the potential long-term effects on Morgan's career. WWE officials, meanwhile, are said to be thrilled with the attention the feud has garnered, recognizing its potential to elevate both women to new heights. As the WWE Universe waits to see what's next for Ripley and Morgan, the question remains: how far is Ripley willing to go to prove her point? Will Morgan find a way to overcome her greatest rival, or will Ripley's relentless pursuit of dominance ultimately break her spirit? The answers lie in the unfolding drama, a story that promises to keep fans on the edge of their seats for months to come. Ripley's motivation may be rooted in her need to assert her dominance, but the emotional depth of her rivalry with Morgan has made it one of the most captivating feuds in WWE history. It's a battle not just of strength and skill, but of willpower and resilience, with each woman pushing the other to their absolute limits. As their saga continues, one thing is certain: the legacy of Rhea Ripley and Liv Morgan will be defined not by their individual accomplishments, but by the intensity of the fire they ignited in each other.